So let us kick off. Let us kick off with Beast. Let's kick off with Beast because, as I said, we have a bit of a bumper show this week because all of a sudden the smaller films have realized that cinemas exist and that there are no blockbusters in them, which means that they might actually get some eyes on them. So, Beast, this is the definition of a creature feature. Would you agree, Shaun?
Uh, yes, yeah, to a degree, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
To a degree.
So at the beginning, you're introduced to Idris Elba, who plays a doctor called Nate from America, who is visiting South Africa with his two daughters. His wife, who is now deceased, was from South Africa, and he was taking he's taking his daughters to sort of like go back and connect with the land where the mother was from. They go out into the middle. They fly into a place, go into Polokwane, and then they go into like the. I'm not sure which area of South Africa Polokwane is in, but this is kind of like you're talking sort of remote. You're talking remote. You're talking almost deserty and all that, and you talk about where people have like they have a friend who's played by Shalto Copley of District 9 fame, who is he's like a gameskeeper, who is like a games warden of this nature reserve, and he picks them up, takes them to his remote house, and as the film goes on, you start realizing that all of a sudden that there's a lion that's attacking people. And Shalto Copley walks around going, hang on a second, because he's friends, well, he said he's friends with lions. Like, he's raised some of them up. He's naturalist. He knows all the lions on the place. And he knows that, okay, that this lion is attacking people as a result of poachers doing something to the lion's pride. And, I mean, it's a creature feature, so you can imagine what happens. It's called Beast. The lion's the beast. You have Idris Elba and two daughters. What's going to happen? Lion's going to end up stalking them. That's the film. And then that is essentially your storyline. We're going to go on from here and we're going to see stuff. Sure, Holly, I guess you're going to tell me which area Polokwane is in.
And I've been there loads. It's in northern South Africa, and it used to be called Petersburg.
Is it KwaZulu-Natal?
It must be KwaZulu-Natal
Okay.
South.
Okay, cool.
Either way, it's fairly near to the border with Zimbabwe. It's the first place to stop to sleep once you come through Bike Bridge.
All right, cool. Good stuff. So that is basically the setup of the film. Shaun, what did you think?
Okay, well, yeah, what did we think? Put it this way, it was sort of, as the narrative went on, and quite early in the film, and there's something we were talking about the Ranger, and it's like, okay, well, so I basically figured the ending sort of maybe 10 minutes into the movie. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I thought the Ranger, through the movie, he's very knowledgeable, knows all about the stuff, and I think he did how anal I am when it comes to being like doing silly stuff, and I just don't think he would have done certain things, and I don't think some of the characters would have done certain things. I think they would have been more, shall we say, sensible, But then it was, if they didn't do it, then there wouldn't have been so much of a story, I guess. So, the action was pretty good, and I tried to be forgiving. I thought, okay, they're trying to make a movie. I'm not going to be too too harsh on this because of those particular things. You know what I'm talking about, Tosin.
No, I know what you're talking about. And I also know. I think I also know what you're talking about, as in trying not to be too harsh on them, because this is the kind of film. It's a smaller film. We sometimes say you don't get a lot of those films coming out anymore. We've been complaining about not enough films in cinema. There's this film that's actually been made and is in cinemas, and so you were like, you want to support this film. You want to applaud the fact that they've made this film, especially. And I'm not sure if you noticed this, but there's a scene. I think the scene you're talking about early on, where they meet a lion, they meet a pride of lions. And there's a scene where after a while it became really obvious to me that all the lions were computer generated.
Yes. I agree with you on that.
There's one particular scene where the way something moves, I'm like, oh, none of those lions are there. But they are very photorealistic. It's you can see they've used the same technology as they used in the Lion King remake. It's very photorealistic. But there was one particular scene where, because a lot of the shots in this film are done in one shots. Like we get out of the car and we just like, there's no cuts or anything like that, and he goes and he plays with the lions, and they're done in one shot, and you can see they're showing off here and they're trying to show off the technology that, oh look, we can make real looking lions, and it's and so they were. But when you talk about the decisions people make in this film, I remember growing up in Nigeria and watching American films, and we watch a disaster movie, and a lot of the films that we watch just made us think, okay, that's it. Jury's out. Americans are stupid because they would keep doing stupid things in these films. You're like, what? There's a sound in a bush.
Yeah.
Why are you walking towards it? Everybody knows that there's a sound in the bush. You run in the opposite direction.
Why are you walking upstairs and not switching the light on?
Exactly. Why are you trying to run away from somebody and running upstairs where there is no way of getting out of the house? And it's like, and there's bits in this film. Where, sure, I totally get what you're saying. There's bits in this film that they are decisions that the characters make that I'm thinking, oh my God, okay, this is movie logic. And the only reason you are doing that is because you are in a film. And if you don't do that, the running time of this film will be half an hour. Yeah. But the reason you're doing that is because you're in a film. Why are you doing it? And there's one bit, right? And essentially, Shaun, I was watching this film and I was just, I was like, this is the film that will turn anybody into Shaun, because the number of times in this film where I found myself just going, why would you do that? I found myself going, why would you do that? And there's bits where they go to great lengths to talk about, oh, this is the way, like, lions work and everything like that. And then the shot, a couple of characters like, oh no, this is not the way lions do and everything like, but they never give an explanation for why all of a sudden this lion is acting out of character. And they never. It's just kind of like, well, the lion's acting out of character because we need a film and we need the good thing about it is that the film is 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes and it gives you it tries to give you a thrill ride for 90 minutes, and I feel like they're almost hoping that you are not going to examine it like we are right now.
Yes.
Because if you're showing up for this thing, the film's called Beast, and if you showed up and there wasn't a beast and it wasn't attacking people, you would feel a bit shortchanged. So I think that that's what they're hoping for. That's what I think that they're going for in this film, and
I'm annoyed by this already, though, because there are actual reasons why that would happen that are genuine reasons that could be provided.
Well, they try and give a reason, because there is a sort of subplot, so to say, about poachers and about how poachers are now going after wildlife in South Africa, and there's a subplot about that kind of goes somewhere. It's really just sort of like it's a setup for a set piece. It's a setup for a set piece. And then the way that they do it, they're kind of trying to do the whole thing about, oh, this isn't really, the animal's fault and everything. But then the way the film ends and when they take everything, you're like, what? And Shaun, I agree with you. There's a bit about 10 minutes in that once they tell you this, you know exactly how this film is going to end. You just know. It's kind of, Shaun, you talk about Chekhov's gun every now and then that if there's a gun in scene 1, it's going to go off by scene 3. And this does this to, like, they just, it's like they drop all these little things. There's even a bit in the film where one of the daughters wears a Jurassic Park t-shirt, and I'm looking at it, and it's as if they're kind of going, yeah, that's the kind of film we're going to be making. And I think more to the case is not so much Jurassic Park as it is Jurassic World. And there's an explanation for what happens in Jurassic World that I feel is similar to what happens in this film. But anyway, that's besides the by. The big question is, how many stars would we give this?
Well, personally speaking, as I say, I'm going to be really forgiving because I think it was just made film for a little bit of a thrill ride. Yeah, it wasn't too long, which was really good. They didn't pan it out. It rolled along at a fairly decent pace, and so I'm not going to be too. I didn't mind it too much, so I'm going to give this one a 3-star. Yeah,
I would agree with you. I would give it a 3, and I don't think we're being too generous. I don't think we're being too generous, but they are. But be warned, if you're going to see it, there's going to be a lot of "why would you do that" going around your head. It was like, what? Why would you do that? Like there's a bit, okay, and there's bits where I feel like it does cross its own rules. Like where it says, okay, if we stick this in the lion, that should give us a couple of hours, and then it doesn't really happen, and they never explain why it doesn't happen. You're just supposed to think this is, but never mind. Anyway, let us move on. Lions
attack people usually because they're old and they're sick and they can't catch anything else. That's just usually the reason.
Well, yeah, this lion does a little bit more than attack people. As I said, I think the if you mix Jaws with Jurassic World, you probably get this film. I think that there's similarities in both of those. But anyway,
such a morality story in there.
Yeah. Let's let So yeah, 3 stars for Beast. Now let's move on and let